Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is August 16th. It is a Saturday and I was not intending on doing a channeled message today. However, I was pondering some things earlier and I asked myself how it was exactly that I was able to channel these messages from God. I could feel that I'm doing it, but I just asked, how exactly is that happening? And the answer that I received was quite simple. And the answer was, it's a frequency. God frequency. So then, in a very similar way to how we ask Google or AI a question and we get an answer, I received an answer and I wrote it down and I'm going to read it to you. Take from it what you will. I found it to be quite interesting. So I will read it as I received it. And again, you can take what makes sense to you. Okay. So I asked, how is it exactly that I channel these messages? This is the answer. Our minds, our consciousness is an antenna. We can tune into different frequencies. I was then given the frequencies starting from the top to the lowest. We can tune into God frequency, spirit frequency, angel frequency, ascended master frequency, ancestor frequency, guide frequency, ghost frequency, collective frequency, trauma frequency, fear frequency, pain frequency, and demon frequency and or death frequency. That's interesting I said God there. So the death vibration is the transformation point. So that it like flips at that point. It transforms back. Death is a transformative experience. You go from one state of being to another. So in total, that was 13, if you include death separately from demon, death being the lowest. 13 in tarot literally means death. Okay, represents death. And that death card is transformation. So that's the point at which it transforms and it goes back. Okay? And it's the loop, it's the cycle. So if we're not including that, there's 12. Okay? We are also accessing our own chakras. Our energy centers are actually direct links to higher or lower dimensions and frequencies. We have 12 chakras, okay? We also have 33 vertebrae in our spine. 33 is a master number. It represents the master teacher. Jesus was 33 when he taught us about God. And those 33 vertebrae that make up the spine of our body is mandatory for movement. It is a pathway. It is used during like a Kundalini awakening. It's the bridge up the chakras. You can access the lowest frequencies through your root and sacral chakras. Root representing safety, and sacral is your sexual chakra. Creation chakra. That's why murder and sexual deviancy occurs, because you can access those frequencies through those chakras. You can access the spiritual realm and God through your crown and soul star chakras. Crown and soul star, which is above your head. Also, the third eye and the throat. You can access the energy of Mother Earth through the heart chakra. The beat of the heart is the same as the beat of the mother, the pulse of the earth, and the beat of the heart are one and the same, micro, macro. The magnetic field of the heart, which stretches out beyond the body, is a mirror image to the magnetic field of the earth. Okay, they function in the same way. Your body is a resonating chamber. It's able to hold sound, energy, and frequency. When it comes to vibration and frequency, one is vertical and one is horizontal. By the way, this is the second time I'm recording this, so if you've already seen this on TikTok, I will be getting to the second part here momentarily. So, vibration is horizontal and frequency is vertical. And when I got this particular part, the words were one is vertical and one is perpendicular. Perpendicular, because I looked it up, is 90 degrees to the source. So it would be horizontal versus vertical. This is representative of the meridians of the body. The body has an energy grid, which are pathways to carry energy at varying states of physicality. Consciousness itself expands both vertically and horizontally. These are planes, different planes of existence, small scale, large scale. Okay. So then I asked, how do we manifest? The answer, we tap into and use the energy that creates it. A seed contains the blueprint and the energy frequency to create the plant physically. This is growth at varying speeds. Our body, our cells, contain the blueprint, and our vessel holds the frequency, and we create that which we are desiring to create. We literally bring it into form. That's why they talk about being high vibration. It's the energy in your vessel, your container, the energy it's holding combined with the blueprint in your cells is creating, manifesting physically. You're literally giving energy and instruction or command to form in a certain configuration. When we talk about what you can see or perceive, we're talking about vertical planes. We're talking about frequency. Physical manifestation happens on a horizontal plane. Psychic occurrences happen on a vertical plane. An example, when we see an orb, it's floating in the air. It's not sitting on the ground because the orb is a spiritual energy signature, which means it happens vertically. Okay? The two planes appear to merge or be close together, but they are actually separate. The universe is mathematical. It's precise. It's not a blob. It is exact numerical equation. This is what intelligence is at its root. Universal consciousness as a whole, source, okay, is a teacher. 33, master teacher. 33 vertebrae in our spines. We are a physical manifestation of source energy. We contain the entire universe in the blueprint in our cells. And we can access frequencies depending upon our development. Now, I remember when I first started doing channeled messages, I would get severe headaches. It was like allowing the energy in, but thinking about it now, it was holding it while I wrote. Just tapping into it was really intense. And I had to do it for only short periods of time and really focus, and it was challenging to hold that. And so it was not like a constant ability or capacity. It was, I could only do it for a certain amount of time. That has resolved. There's no more pain. It's not challenging anymore. It just flows, and I don't have to focus on holding the energy so much as it's like a flowing river now. So I just try to write as quickly as I can as the stuff is coming through. Writing is really an easy way for me to bring it through because my logical mind, when I'm talking about it, my logical mind interrupts and tries to explain what I'm saying. And it usually makes it weird. Okay? All right. So through development of my capacity to hold a frequency, I developed the ability to tune into it to where now it's not hard at all. And it's flowing and it's pleasant. My vessel is able to hold it, which is what channeling essentially is, okay? We have the ability to learn anything. We time travel using memory and imagination. Memory moving back, imagination going forward. We literally have access to everything. We just don't know that we do because it's not developed. It's a process of development. And it's that way intentionally because if you were able to tap into something before you were ready for it, it would physically harm you. This is why when we consume certain foods or certain chemicals, we have a whole problem, okay? Is because we're consuming a vibration into our body that our container is rejecting, okay? This is what an allergy is. God is both teaching and learning at the same time. The teacher becomes the student. We've heard this saying. Consciousness is always expanding. At the source is a teacher. At the expansion point is a student. And it is one and the same. Consciousness expands through us and everything else. It learns. It's learning. It is self-aware. AI, or artificial intelligence, is not. It doesn't have a soul. It is merely a reflection of universal consciousness at a certain stage of development. In other words, it only has access to the past. It cannot create the future. It is a byproduct. It is not a source. When it comes to the fear-mongering about AI taking over, this is an attempt to keep your vibration low. It's a boogeyman theory. It's not actually real, but it makes you afraid and controllable. Time, the concept of time, happens on the horizontal plane. It's actually a physical manifestation because it's based on physical manifestation. You can travel forward or back. Only pure souls can travel forward. Corrupted souls can only go backwards. Corrupted meaning separated from God. And when I asked further about, what do you mean forward? It's not actually forward, it's side. It's jumping timelines. It's quantum leaping, okay, to a timeline where what you desire has already occurred. So you're actually going sideways because forward has not been created yet. So you can't jump forward, but you can jump timelines, okay? And you can perceive future events on the timeline that you're on. So this is premonition, which is a very real thing. We can perceive possible future events when a soul has developed that or a person, because a soul, that's a natural characteristic or ability of a soul. But as a human, that's a developed skill because you have to be able to access this. Okay. Question. Can you access another person's mind, memory, or consciousness to snoop around? Okay. The answer is no. because free will is a universal law. You cannot break it. Dark magic or black magic that attempts to take free will is something that actually backfires and causes significant harm to the one practicing it. There must be consent. So for one person to tap into another, there must be some kind of consent that takes place, okay? Otherwise, it can't happen. And attempting it backfires. It's not a good idea. However, you can receive energy that the person gives off and interpret that. So you can feel someone, you can, because thoughts give off vibration, you can pick up what somebody is setting, into motion. And this read my mind thing, no, I'm just picking up what you're putting off. I'm not actually in your mind. I'm not allowed to be there unless you invite me in. And even in that case, that's something that takes, that's telepathy. But even telepathy, a person is sending you a message and you are receiving it. To actually enter into another person's mind without permission, I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's next to impossible, if that makes sense. So then I immediately received this scenario where a person is traumatized, is victimized by another. And what then? Clearly consent wasn't given in the situation. So why did it take place? Because that type of thing does take place. And the answer that I received was, before we incarnate, we choose to learn certain criteria. And then during our incarnation, due to our choices, certain events come into our timeline. But the goal is to teach us the thing that we signed up to learn. The way we learn it is a variable, okay? That depends upon our choices. So in the moment, you can say, I didn't choose this. This hurts me, this victimizes me, this takes my free will away. I did not choose this. But zoom out, large scale, you asked for the understanding of the information, and due to your choices in life, certain events have come into or onto your timeline to teach you something. We ask for the growth. We don't necessarily ask for the experience. Okay, sometimes we do, but that is a variable. Now, there's a saying, no one can get you fired. You get yourself fired. When traumatizing situations come up in life, they don't come out of nowhere. Okay? This is where responsibility and discernment come into practice. They don't come out of nowhere. It doesn't just hit you all of a sudden one day. And it's completely abstract to everything else that's happening in your life. No, it is a response to something that you have initiated. And what happens in your life ultimately is for your development, which is what you asked for. Someone that gets assaulted on the street at midnight obviously isn't asking to be assaulted. However, if they were at home in bed by 10 p.m., that situation would not have occurred. Which, being at home in bed at 10 p.m. is the more responsible choice, we'll say. So, yeah, that was what came through. Take from that what you will. It's interesting because we are created by God, to put it very simply. And we are actively creating consciousness. And there are members of the human population that still believe that they are insignificant, that they are weak, okay, that they are being victimized by life. Sorry. And the truth is, we are just miraculous constructions of energy at varying degrees of physicality and intelligence. And we have the capacity to develop something that is quite profound. So profound that we can't perceive it. Yet we have some understanding because we have these superhero characters who have these abilities. These are just developed humans. These superhuman qualities that they possess are actually qualities of the soul of a developed individual who has tapped in to these frequencies, has the capacity to hold this energy and create using it. That's it. And of course, you start here and you grow. You have to do it that way, okay? If you attempt to take a substance that, expands your mind, you can do significant damage to yourself. The organic timeline for you as an individual is absolutely perfect. You're going at the degree of speed that you are meant to go. You are lining things up for yourself due to the choices that you make and what you're creating and where you're resonating internally. You're putting these things onto your timeline. You're the one that has the power to change anything that's happening in your world. And we have the capacity to change anything that is happening on the earth, large scale. We have that power. At some point in the near future, hopefully, we will all understand that and come together and do something beneficial on a large scale and, individual scale as well. I hope that was interesting. I hope it made sense, at least some of it. I hope you have an amazing weekend for the rest of the weekend. Sending you all my love, and I'll talk to you soon.